We're joined by the cast of Every Brilliant Thing, and we have, I clicked the right button. John is in the studio with us this morning, and we also have Carrie and Mary on the phone. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
All right, there we are. So, Every Brilliant Thing is the latest production from the West Bend Theater Company, and shows are coming right up.
Yeah, the first show is on the 20th of August, and then we've got a Friday, Saturday, Sunday that weekend, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday the following weekend.
Now, let's talk a little bit about what Every Brilliant Thing is about.
Well, the premise is effectively the coming-of-age story of a young man whose mother struggles with depression and how he copes with that as he gets older. And it all revolves around this list that he starts writing when he's 7 years old of things that are brilliant in life that are worth living for. And then I can let Mary and Carrie jump in with other thoughts on it, too.
Okay.
Well, the list begins, as the narrator says, as a gift for the mother to help convince the mother that life is worth living. And throughout this person's, childhood and then teen years and college years, the list grows and grows until the narrator begins to realize that the list shapes their own outlook more than anyone else's.
Okay. So what kind of things are on the list?
You have millions of things, quite honestly. You have everyday things like everyone's favorite ice cream. You have kind cats, which I find to be an ironic statement. Good records. Just anything you could possibly imagine that makes someone happy or brings joy to the world.
Gotcha. So if I would say a bottle of soda that fizzes just right would count, right?
Oh,
that would qualify on a day like today, Central Air.
Yeah, right. There we go. And this is based on a true story.
Well, according to the playwright, it's based on what he calls true and untrue stories. So it's much of the jumping off point is true, but it's embellished. So yes, heavily based.
All right, and essentially, the way this is being produced is that the three of you are essentially the one character, right? Is that kind of
Correct.
how this goes?
So the show originated as a one-man show with the co-author, Johnny Donahue. And Nancy, our director, elected to do it with three individuals, partially so we can get more people involved in the theater, and also because it gives it more of kind of an everyman concept where this isn't one person's story, it's more of this could be anyone's story. And it's really interesting being a man and two women to give a little bit more diversity to the role and to really make people more comfortable as to, yes, this isn't a man's story, this isn't a woman's story, it's just any of us could have experienced this, and this is how any of us could have responded to it.
Okay, all right. And the performances are in the round?
Correct. The performances are in the round. The house lights are up the entire time. We do ask. There are lines that are said by the audience intermittently. Basically, the audience helps read us the list. So as you enter, you may receive from a cast member a Post-it note that has number 1245 on it. And when one of us calls out 1245, you've got lines.
Ah, okay. Interesting. And the performances are at?
The West Bend Masonic Lodge Center. And we...
And we should also mention where people can get tickets.
Tickets are available exclusively at westbendtheaterco.com.
And we should remind folks that theater in this case is spelled R-E.
Indeed.
So otherwise you're looking forever and you're never going to get there. So,
Perfect. That's a good one.
Right. And as is the case with productions from West Bend Theater Company, there's often a nonprofit or community partner involved. And Affiliated Clinical Services, I understand, is the partner for this production.
Yes. And there will be someone from Affiliated Clinical at every performance, because we recognize that even though that this is a really uplifting story, the jumping off point of dealing with a parent who suffers from depression and attempts suicide may trigger some people, and they may want to talk with someone. So there will always be someone from Affiliated Clinical at each performance.
All right. Interesting. So, what made you get involved in this particular play? If I could ask each of you, what interested you?
Well, and this is going to probably
interested in the story. I felt like it's a story that we can all relate to on some level, dealing with mental health and depression and all of those issues. I think it's really prevalent in our society, and I think the message of hope and understanding that comes from it was really what drew me to the story.
Okay.
And when I had a chance to read the script and saw what it was, I did a little research on it, and I started looking at YouTube clips of performances and things like that, and the fact that it was done in such a manner that made it comfortable to talk about, that made it comfortable to laugh about, that life still exists around these challenging moments. It really tugged at heartstrings that, I had forgotten that I had experiences with this in my own life, and said this is an important message to be able to tell, particularly after the year that we've all just gone through.
Right. Okay.
What drew me is that everyone has dealt with, in some form or another, in some way or another, whether it's themselves or a friend or a family member, someone with a mental illness or through depression. Everyone at some point has felt depressed or like hopeless, and this particular play has such a wonderful message of hope. It really makes you look at those little everyday miracles that make life worth living. So I truly was drawn to the universality of that message. That there's always hope, and there's always things to believe that things will get better.
All right. Well, a great message. I think it's a message that we kind of all need to hear and need to get kind of refreshed in our minds every once in a while, don't you think?
Absolutely.
So, did I forget anything?
No, I think we got pretty much everything.
All right. Well,
that's relevant.
Well, let's mention performance dates and times once again, and where they can get tickets. And also, in the interest of full disclosure, I should mention that I am a board member for West Bend Theater Company. So, just so nobody doesn't, just so we don't skip that along the way. So
performances are going to be August 20th, 21st, 27th, 28th. So that's not this Friday. So it's those Fridays and Saturdays. The shows start at 7:30. And then Sunday, August the 22nd, and Sunday, August the 29th at 2 p.m. Tickets can be purchased exclusively online at westbendtheaterco.com. And again, to your point, it's theater with the RE.com.
All right. John, Mary, Carrie, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you. It's good talking
Great
to you.
day.
Thanks. 101.3 WIBD, AM 1470. Let's get back to news.